Hi everybody, welcome to week 3. I'm really excited about the work that we have been doing and the work that we're going to do this week. I want to start this short video by just kind of recapping very quickly what we've done. So in week 1 we started talking about, are all men created equal? And on your discussion boards you guys said great things. They were so insightful. I really want to share some notes that I was taking about those discussion boards. I might make a video for you, but you were really looking deeply into this and having great conversations. One of the things that you came up with was that we might be created equal, but we are not treated that way. And something that a lot of people said was like, the system doesn't work for everybody. So in week 2, we started thinking about this idea of what the system is. Like, what are we talking about when we talk about the system, right? And we talked in class about how this thing called the system might work differently for somebody like William, a black guy from Trenton, than it does for somebody like Hugh, a white guy from Princeton. And now we're going to keep talking about what do we mean by the system. So in our conversations in class last week and in your discussion boards, you talked about different parts of the system. The system could be money. The system could be race. The system could be the justice system. It could be families. It could be schools. It could be all of those things that we live with every day. When we read Johnson, the Alan Johnson essay, What is a System of Privilege, got into some particular details about how those systems work. So one of the things he said is the concept of privilege refers to any advantage that is unearned, exclusive, and socially conferred. That means if it's unearned, that means it's just given to somebody, right? Your race is just given to you, right? And any privileges that might come with your race, you just have. You don't have to work for those. Exclusive means that only some people can get it, just like an exclusive club, right? So if you are not male, you don't get male privilege, right? If you are not straight, you don't get straight privilege. And socially conferred means it is given to you based on how society sees you and judges you. And I thought one of the more interesting points in our conversation was a couple of people talking about family members, people who are related to each other, but have very different skin color. And so they're perceived differently by the world and treated by the world. So for example, one student talked about herself and her brother. One of them is very light-skinned, the other one is more dark-skinned, and the world treats them differently. Another student talked about her children, and even though her children have the same father, same mother, they have two very different skin colors, and the world treats them differently. And that's what we mean by socially conferred. So this week we're thinking about how the system can work in these ways. So for example, if the system is something about money, and you are perceived as being rich, you are going to get certain privilege based on how the world sees you. Okay, so let's keep thinking about that a little more. The other thing Johnson says, there's lots of things he says, but one other big quote is, a system of privilege, a family, a workplace, a society, is organized around 3 basic principles: dominance, identification, and centeredness. Dominance means that one group has more power than others in society. So for example, this doesn't mean that all white people are powerful. Obviously, most white people are not powerful, but the people who are in power tend to be white, right? And when we think about that, like, that's also a really important thing to notice about privileges. Even as we're talking about it, it's not like individuals who may have like a little bit of privilege always have tons of privilege, right? We're not saying that like white people have it easy and life is wonderful because you're white, right? Life can still be hard for white people, but it just means that, like Johnson says, as a group, white people tend to have more access to different privileges. So dominance means that one group has more power. Identification can mean that one group is thought of being the norm while others are not, right? So the Johnson talks about how we can divide the world up into white and non-white, right? As if non-white was just like one big group and white people are normal. We do this with sexuality a lot too, right? We tend to assume that straight is normal, right? And gay or lesbian or bi or asexual or whatever is something that's outside of the norm, right? We do this with gender as well, right? So this idea that one way of being, one identity is normal. And then centeredness is this idea that whatever the thing is that's normal tends to be at the center of media, television, movies, but it also means that what is important to that idea of normal, we tend to think of as like, okay, That's what is important. And the concerns of people outside that idea of what's normal are generally like not held to be important by the world, right? So when the government, when legislators are thinking about what they need to make laws about, they might be concerned about making laws about what affects people who are like quote unquote the norm, but they may not be thinking about how those things affect people outside the norm. Okay, so now that kind of gives you a quick overview of how week 1 leads into week 2, how we're getting deeper into these ideas. Now week 3, we're going to keep going with this. We're going to talk about how these different systems work for or against different people, and we're going to focus on 2 particular systems. And although it's hard to like take all those systems apart, right? We're going to talk about neighborhoods. How is your zip code a part of different systems like schools, healthcare, policing, right? And then employment. How are employment systems centered around certain people? Are they exclusive, and do they socially confer any privilege? So those are kind of the big questions for this week, and they are also going to lead into your essay 1. So let's go take a look at Blackboard. Actually, before we leave and go to Blackboard, I just want to know if these notes that we just looked at in this video are useful to you, and if you want me to post them on Blackboard or share them with you. If you do, please email me. By the way, sending me an email answering that question is also a good way to let me know that you watched this video. Haha, I'm being sneaky. Okay, now we're going to go to Blackboard. Okay, here we are in week 3, and we're going to talk through what's in week 3. So you have a reading this week from your textbook. If you don't have your textbook, that's fine. You can just click here. The reading is linked right here. If you do have your textbook, great. That'll make it easier for you to take notes. We also have a video. Unfortunately, there's not a transcription of that video. But one thing that you can do is if you go to the settings in YouTube, you can turn on closed captioning, and a lot of times it can help to like see the words that somebody is saying. This video about lucky zip codes is very complicated. It's a little confusing. She brings up different ideas and then goes to another idea, and it is confusing. As you're watching it, you might have a little bit of a hard time with it. Don't feel like you have to understand everything in it, and also you will probably have to watch it 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4 times. A couple things to look out for are the way she talks about police, the way she talks about schools, and then the way she talks about something called fictive kinship. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, then we are going to have a couple discussion board posts. Please remember that those discussion board posts are really important. That is where you are developing a lot of ideas. So make your own post, but then be sure that you're replying to other people and also replying to them when they reply to you. So you don't have to spend a lot of time on the discussion board every day, but do check in as often as you can. Sometimes it might just be 15-20 minutes, but check in so you can be sharing those ideas. Okay, so you have a post to the discussion board about what does Amy Hunter mean by lucky. It will be much easier to make that post if you took notes while you were watching the video. And here's another request. If you would like me to make you a video or give you some guidance on how to take notes on a YouTube video, give you a demonstration of that, please let me know and I will make you that video. There's another thing you can email me. Okay, you also have another post to the discussion board about your writing problems. Now, the way I'm trying to design this class is to take you step by step through a process of critical thinking and a process of writing. I know that learning online can sometimes feel like you have to do all your learning on your own. To me, that would be like if I gave you 2 readings and said, okay, here, now go write an essay. And then you have to just figure it out on your own and you're not actually learning anything. And that's not obviously what college should be. So I'm trying to help you do the learning by giving you lots of smaller assignments that break down that process into individual steps to make you think about things more deeply. And that will give you techniques and strategies, ways to do that thinking, ways to use that writing that you can use in all your college classes. So by asking you to write about what are your writing problems, the idea there is that you can learn how to become a better writer if you think about the ways you have problems as a writer. And also, like, writing is not some like mysterious thing you're either good at it or you're not. It's a skill. You can get better at it. The same way like you can get better at a sport or playing an instrument. Writing is just a skill you can get better at. Okay, so writing about your writing problems is really important. Okay, and then you are going to have a connection assignment. So that's a chart. It's a very small chart. It has one row on it. There's instructions there for how to do that. Please email me if you have questions about how to do that. But basically, you're going to be writing a little bit about Johnson, a little bit about Rice, a little bit about Hunter, and then a little bit about how they fit together. And that is going to feed right into your Essay 1. Then you are going to draft 2 body paragraphs for Essay 1. Those are draft paragraphs. So don't get hung up on grammar and spelling, but do get hung up on making sure that you have a quote, that your paragraph has a very clear idea, and that you are really discussing that idea and the quote and how they relate. It is good to have lots of writing. It is better to have lots of imperfect writing than it is to have a little bit of perfect writing, okay? And the last thing I wanted to call out to you is that I have settled on 4 class times: Monday evenings, Tuesday afternoons, and Wednesday and Thursday mornings. I think everybody should be able to make those times. If you cannot, please let me know. And that is our week 3. I look forward to hearing from you. As always, please text me, please email me, please reach out anytime you need anything, and have a great week. I look forward to seeing you in class.